Hello. This course is designed to show officers how to get the most out of their kit. A soldier should have at least 150 hours on the battlefield before becoming an officer. That should be considered, otherwise some of these concepts will not be delivered entirely. 200 or 250 hours is recommended, because you should know each of these classes and how they play. Rifleman, engineer, assault, mountaineer, their capabilities. Now the most important aspect of playing the officer, if you want to skip through the whole thing, you always want to use small smoke all the time. It is the best. And then the other thing is you want to whistle as well. Small smoke and whistle, your team will win. There is no instant gratification system set up to reward you to do either. So if you only do these things if you want to win. Small smoke and whistle. That is the most important. I would say you will choose how flamboyant your officer is dressed, okay? So an officer such as this, with bright colors, who is easily distinguishable, he will be easy for your troops to rally around. However, he will be picked off by enemy players as well. Alright? Even in his snow jacket, he's easy to identify because of his blue color. So, you will be aware, this is 1915 uniform, but in 1916 they no longer dress like that, for good reason too. The more grime and grit your officer has, the more camouflage they have. There is a slight, I would almost say, pay-to-win dynamic, as there's a benefit to wearing white on the white maps, but it, I would not say it's negligible, but it is very minor. So you must choose, right? The more your officer stands out, the more he will inspire your men, but also the bigger the chance of him just being picked off. Shooting off an officer is a very good deed. Alright, there are only 2 officers per side, whereas other classes there are 5 assaultmen and 7 engineers in some cases. I will say this, the officer, there's something different about him compared to all the other classes, compared to how he plays. I'm not exactly sure how to explain it. The enemy has some amount of clemency, or maybe the officer is just more resilient, or maybe he's just smaller. I'm not sure exactly. So
Benvenuto al fronte, fratello!
I will be the officer here, alright? So you can see there are these telephones, right? These telephones are where you can do your officer abilities. You want your soldiers to make them, these little tables here. Yeah, this one's all. Okay, these tables here are how you call in your abilities, but also you could use a spawn point as well. Alright. The whistle, you always want to charge, alright? When we say whistle, this is what people say, alright? You always do it, just always do it. Don't worry about wasting it. There are people that will worry about wasting it, you are not one of them, okay? Also, he can order people to go in a direction, alright? And that will boost their score, and it will get you score if they follow your order as well. But that part is not so important. What is important is the flare gun, okay? So I'm aiming on the mini map, alright? I aim up and down with my... I aim up and down, but then I also use the mini map to fire off my flares, okay? Like that. Alright, I'm going to wait. I don't want the fire again to increase effect. Oh, and I got stuck. See, look, I got stuck in a tree. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good. And then I'll fire this one over. Yeah, okay. So now this spawn area, I go here and look, small smoke, alright? You always want to use small smoke. Just always do it, all the time. Always do it. Look, always do it, and that's it. That's really it. Look, I shoot off the flares, okay? And then it's time to charge, right? Every 50 seconds you do that, alright? If your team ever reminds you to charge, you're dumb, and you shouldn't be an officer, okay? So look, I fired off the small smoke, and look, it's all... It hasn't even touched down yet, right? And I'm already 1/3. I'm already 1/3 of the small smoke being done. Okay, so it's already almost done. Ideally, what you really want to do is fire the flare like more in this area, if you can see above Alpha. So basically, you don't want to smoke your guys so that they will get silhouetted, alright? Because you can definitely silhouette your own men with smoke, okay? Now, strafing run is very good. So what you do is you choose the origin and then you choose the direction. So he comes down in a line, alright? It comes down in a line, and you have to be aware of geometry to make this happen, alright? You have to be aware of geometry to make this happen. So there's going to be a plane going. He's gonna fly across, and he'll shoot anything in that line. It doesn't matter. The gunner on there has perfect accuracy. And now look, I'm also ready for small smoke. Okay, so look, and the time it took me to explain to you, I've done small smoke twice. And it's taken everything else so much time to, you know, charge. Now I will be going for creeping barrage, okay? When you fire off the offensive abilities, you do not want to fire them over buildings, okay? Because it won't do anything. Never ever use recon. Never ever use recon. Recon is bad. You might have some use for recon, but it really is something you shouldn't ever do. Okay? Unfortunately, my stupid strafing run didn't do much. I expected it to do more. So, the thing is, right? I'm about to use small smoke for a third time. The soldiers, they see your abilities as passive, okay? All they notice is like, oh, we have cover all the time. That's so cool. Whereas the officers see the abilities as active. They think, oh, the soldiers see the smoke now. Now they will go. All right, the perception of the battlefield is different for both of them. And now, look, it's time for me to whistle. Okay, it's time for me to whistle. Okay, now I'm in a situation, right? Because we have no spotters, and I need flares, right? We have no spotters, we have no ammo boxes, and I need flares. I'm in the situation, so. All the flares from that round go away. They disappear, okay? They are gone. So I can't use anything right now. I'm locked out. Which means my small smoke will be wasted. Not even the recon plane will help me, because only the flares give me a place to actually fire off my ability. And always charge, always charging whenever you can. It's not like a special thing. Remember, you want to be passive. You want them just to think, oh, I can always spawn in when I want to. That's great. This weapon is probably really good for the officers since it has 8 bullets. I think that's really good. Dude. Oh, that was an actual guy, damn. I'm ordering them to charge again. And what that does is it makes it so they can spawn quicker, alright? If they get locked out of spawning, it's bad, alright? If you die and can't whistle, then you get locked out and the whole momentum slows down. You always want them spawning. Unless you don't, unless you're like, fuck, we don't have enough tickets. I don't want them spawning. So you could consider that too. You could use it basically to like throttle how many tickets were needed. I'm always looking at the map. It's more important on defense when you look at the map, really. I could try to talk to these guys and do plans, but a lot of them are just bots, so it doesn't really matter as much. But if I did, though, I will say this. Look at the map. The soldiers are either doing one of 4 things. They're reinforcing, they're advancing, they're assaulting, or they're holding, okay? When they're reinforcing, they're not really going to be defending themselves. They're just going to be trying to get to wherever they're going. If they're advancing, they will try to defend themselves. If they're assaulting, they're just worried about attacking. And then some soldiers know when to hold, but many soldiers don't. So holding is an advanced tactic. As an officer, you're more like, you know, a symbol for your men. Damn it. Don't reload. Ah! Okay, well, I need to work on managing my reloading with my pistol. But now, right, it's good I died because now I can do this. Because remember I got locked out. Now I have my flares. And this ideally is where you want to flare, just above the target. You want to flare right above the target, okay? Right? Yeah. This is the ideal place. And then maybe I'll do one on the target as well. And now I'll go to my office right here. And so now we have creeping smoke. And I'm gonna do it like this, okay? So the creeping smoke, if you can see, it will be covering this way, so it will be obscuring my enemy's line of sight without silhouetting my men. Okay, and it's on the high elevation, so it'll be covering it. If I did smoke down here, there's a good chance they would just be above the smoke. I'm also sitting in my bomber squadron, okay? Like I said, you have to use geometry. And then creeping garage as well. Okay, and then remember, I'm always trying to remember to charge all the time. And then now we will see. Now we will see. Oh, and there are enemies close to me. Here comes the bomber wing, I think. Should get some. Oh yeah, see, there we go. I got a couple. And then that smoke should be in position. Yeah, you can see the smoke from here, I think. So that is obscuring them, right? And it's blocking the enemy's line of sight. You can see it there. You always want to keep the smoke up, alright? And I might even have... The next smoke might even be ready at this point. Okay, as an officer, I haven't done a great job because there was a big window where I just didn't have anything. You see, look, I already have more smoke. I'm gonna call it up there. Okay. No, but here's the thing, right? Normally, your mountain men will not be putting this the markers exactly where you want them, alright? They'll just be throwing them over the point. Normally, you'll just see like 9 markers directly over the point. So it's up to you to either get them to put it in the right place, or you just put it there correctly yourself, okay? But like I said, 2 most important things, right? Whistling all the time. Just whistle all the time. Don't, if they have to tell you to whistle, you kind of suck. That's just like, I don't even tell the officers to whistle, because if I have to, that means I'm just doing their job for them. I'm just doing the job for them, basically. You know, and it's like, I'm like, whistle, 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 and then I'll just have to do it for them for the rest of the game, right? I'm like thinking for them. Okay, this one's cool, the order's cool, but it doesn't really matter that much. And then smoke, just use smoke all the time. Do I have smoke ready yet? Do I have smoke ready yet? Okay, no, it's halfway done. Just always be aware of that, okay? Yeah, see, look, that's another officer, and he'll be doing the same thing, but they usually just wait. Normally what most officers do will just wait for the big things, and that's all they'll do. Yeah, don't do recon. Don't ever do recon. Yeah, that's about, I think, mostly what I want to do in the field. Oh, look, no, he called in smoke right there. So, look, he called in smoke right here. And this is not the worst place to have smoke. It's not the worst place to have smoke. If you smoke the cover, it's not the worst. I just prefer to have it back. I do like, though, that he didn't gas, alright? Because if he gassed the trench, that means our guys will just run into the trench and get gassed. So, yeah, you want to whistle and you want to use smoke. Like I said, those are important. There are several things that you must take into account, alright? First of all, as an officer, you are playing a strategy game. Okay, you are playing a strategy game and everyone else is playing a first-person shooter, so you must take that into account. You must see the world from a bird's eye view, but also not lose track of your guy, because he could get killed while you're playing around with the map and stuff like that, alright? You are basically in charge of a fighting force with Civil War guns on a World War II battlefield, okay? You have to make these 2 very different concepts match up, okay? You can have big plans. This game is wonderful. I think over, like, 15 years ago, maybe close to 20 years ago, I was thinking to myself, man, I wish Battlefield had a command system. And they went in that direction, but at the end of the day, the command system just doesn't work so well, because one man with one gun or one box of C4 could do so many things. In this game, you are limited. Your arsenal and your firepower is extremely limited. One man is never enough. Never, ever enough. It can get really far. He can get really far. But if you want to win, you must work as a team. And that is your incentive, okay? You can have big plans. And they can work out. Alright? But strategy games are mostly a thing of the past. The Zoomers have no patience whatsoever. The Zoomers have no patience whatsoever. The closest approximation Zoomers have to patience is just complete lethargy. Like lethargy to the point where they are now immobile, okay? So they cannot really manage that. In general, I will say this again. There are 3 postures your soldiers will have. Reinforcing, advancing, and assaulting. If they are reinforcing, they are not protecting themselves. They are just trying to get in position somewhere to start advancing. If they are advancing, they will take on enemies as they see them and fight, and they will protect themselves somewhat. But if they are assaulting, they just continue in close combat. Alright, now the fourth one is holding, and I say this is the fourth one when most soldiers have 3 postures, because the zoomer does not know when to hold. The zoomer will just continue advancing until he dies, and then he'll go back to reinforcing. So it's your job to look at the map and figure out how to get your guys to reinforce without dying. All right, if they're dying while they're reinforcing, they are spread out too far. Okay, if your men are reinforcing and dying, that means that they cannot reinforce the area they're trying to go to, and they don't know this. They will not look at the map and think, oh, that is dangerous. They have, your men, because they are zoomers, have no concept of object permanence. Remember this word, object permanence. They will die in the same area to the same man over and over again, and have no clue to what's happening. They will think they are just unlucky. Many soldiers will just, when something bad is happening, your soldiers every time will think, oh, this is a fluke, this is unlucky. It is your job to divine what truly is a fluke, what is unlucky, what is just loss, and what is catastrophic failure, okay? You must stop your men from dying when they're reinforcing by whatever means are at your disposal, on either side, alright? Even as defenders, sometimes smoke can help your guys reinforce. If they are advancing and dying, that's not so bad, alright? If they're advancing, if they're dying while assaulting, oh well, you can't really help that. Holding, is, like I said, is an advanced tactic. And remember, they will always see your powers and abilities as passive. They're thinking about the whole battle that they're fighting. They're not thinking about some great advance or some push. They won't remember that. They are remembering second by second, play by play. And a lot of time, that just means them getting sniped, okay? And I've seen so many officers do nothing, just waiting for their big power-ups, thinking the big power-up's going to change the day. But I will tell you this. I will tell you what happens after the perfect bombing run. I will tell you exactly, step by step, what happens, okay? First, the planes are visible. Now, they may go to the ground, they may not. Probably not. Second, the planes are audible. Third, the planes drop their bombs. Fourth, everyone dies, or they don't. Okay, and this part is important, because they might not die. I've seen these bombing runs kill nothing. Okay? Then, after everyone is dead or not, the most important part of the bombing run comes. There's like debris and dust. You advance through the debris and dust, okay? Into hopefully an empty trench or semi-empty, okay? And then they will reinforce it. So what I'm saying is it is a very lengthy process with many moving pieces when the big bombing run comes in, but it is not something you should put all your chips in. It is not worth throwing them all on the bombing run, I don't think. It is worth throwing them all on smoke, because you can smoke over and over and over again, and your men will love it, okay? There are other things you can use. I would not recommend the canteen. I mean, it's situational. I would not recommend the binoculars either. The pistol is good. The flare pistol is good. And the reason why the flare pistol is good is after you have expended all your pistol ammo, you can shoot the flare pistol Star Wars at them, which is cool. Okay, so flare pistol is very good, but also you need the flare pistol to use your abilities. If you get locked out like I did, you will have long moments where you cannot use any abilities, and that is a very big determinant. Assault officer is great. This one is great. Probably just use this one. All the time. All the time. You just want more whistling. You just want to whistle all the time. Okay. Engineer officer is good for the beginning, so they can tear down the wire. Situational. Assault officer is still better. Frontline officer is probably the best, but you have to learn how to use it. I won't explain it to you. You can figure it out, but essentially this changes the entire spawning system and makes your guy a menace. The entire team can essentially spawn off of you. Exploration seems cool too. It seems pretty cool, but You should probably just use Assault Officer. It is probably just this one you should use every time. But your men in general, this game has, I dare say it has, I won't say a high learning curve. It does a definite learning curve. And then, in fact, it has several different learning curves. This game has about, this game doesn't have a high learning curve. This game has several learning curves. Okay, and they're not one after the other. They're simultaneous in different directions. Alright. So, but it has a low skill ceiling. So if you're looking to win and be a hero, you can do it. All you have to do is have a plan. And the soldiers will follow you. The soldiers do like following plans. That is why they're playing this game. Okay? That is why they're playing this game, alright? That is why, because they want the plans. They like the plans. They like the structure and they like the order, alright? Even though many of them are Zoomers, many of them want to be better. Then they want to remember what it is like to be a man, even though they have never been a man. This game can teach them that, okay? This game can teach them that. So in review, right? In review, you always want the smoke and always want the whistle. That's basically the most important thing. Unfortunately, there is no instant gratification point system to reward you for doing either other than winning the game. Okay, if winning the game is your primary intention, then you already know what I'm gonna say. There's only two things you have to do over and over and over again. Alright, blow the whistle, but when you smoke, do not silhouette your men. Do not silhouette your men. Silhouetting means they run through the smoke and get shot because the enemy sees their silhouette. It is easier to shoot even a silhouette than it is to shoot a regular soldier because it's just a silhouette. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I have heard many soldiers say, I'm getting shot through my own smoke. I'm getting shot through my own smoke. And that's because they got silhouetted by their own man, by their own officer. If you are a defensive officer, you must tell your men to cover the flanks. And you must tell your men when to fall back, alright? They must fall back when you can no longer reinforce. And when you see on the map that they cannot get to the place they're trying to reinforce, tell them not to go up there anymore. And sometimes they will listen. But it is best to use the mic. Your men have postures, which is reinforcing, advancing, assaulting, or holding. They will always see you as passive, but you will see your power-ups as active. Okay? You must choose what kind of uniform your officer will wear, right? You are a symbol for your soldiers. You are a symbol for your soldiers, alright? They must look up to you, and the enemy must fear you somewhat. You must be distinguishable, but not too distinguishable. Alright. Have your men build the phones all the time, and that I think that is pretty much it, okay? You will do fine, soldiers, you will do fine.